If you've been thinking of moving to Ottawa, but you're not sure which neighborhood best fits your lifestyle, or even what the true cost of living is, before you pack one box, make sure you watch this video. So when some people think of Ottawa, they think of a concrete jungle, maybe a stuffy government town. And it's not like that everywhere. As you can see, I'm at the Rideau Canal, right downtown. It's a vibrant area. And in the summer, people are jogging, paddleboarding, kayaking, cycling. And in the winter, I'm sure you know, it turns into the world's largest skating rink. So if you're relocating from Montreal, Toronto, or Vancouver, and you're looking for a place where you can be outdoors and not have to go through 2 hours of traffic to get there, that's why people choose Ottawa. So the city of Ottawa really isn't that complicated to break down geographic wise if you're looking at it on a map. When I started this video, I was at the Parliament, which is in the center at the north. So right in the middle at the top. And if you go north of that, there isn't anything. You have the Ottawa River, and then it's Quebec. We're right on the border of the next province. So it's really a city that's spread out from east to west and a little bit south, and there's a big sprawl in all directions, and I'll explain that to you. But in the middle, you have this major mass with a whole bunch of great communities, and around that big mass, you have the green belt. So the green belt, and I'll show this in a second, the green belt is like a giant U shape of NCC protected land that kind of insulates the center of Ottawa from all the major suburbs on the extremities. And those major suburbs would be, on the west, you have Kanata and Stittsville. On the southwest, you have Barrhaven. In the south now, you have Finley Creek that's growing, getting pretty big. And on the east, you have Orleans. So I'll show you all that on a map. I'll explain to you the pros and cons. But right now, I'm going to head out to Kanata. It takes 14 minutes to get there from downtown. And I'm going to show you one of the major economic hubs of the city. So now I'm standing right in the middle of North Kanata, and yes, it actually looks like this. You have brand new buildings on one side and an incredible golf course right in the middle of the whole thing. And this is Canada's largest tech sector. So what that means is we have over 540 tech companies here, over 33,000 employees, and this place pumps over $13 billion a year into Canada's economy. So I've got the map up here now to show you the geography that I explained to you earlier about how Ottawa is kind of laid out. So it's a real linear city. You've got from east to west over here, there's one major highway that cuts right through the whole thing. Downtown, where my opening shot was at Parliament, is literally right here, right in the middle. And then you have this big kind of downtown core with a bunch of really nice different neighborhoods and almost little suburbs within it in the inside of the core. And around it, right here, if you can see all that green, that's what I was talking about when I said there's a green belt. NCC protected land that kind of separates all the busyness from the major suburbs, which are Kanata, which is where I just was, Kanata here in the west, Barrhaven here in the south, and Orleans here in the east. So I'll touch on Kanata first because I was just there, and I'll explain to you a little bit about the lifestyle and how it looks. I simply just pulled up Google and typed in Kanata, Ottawa, and you can see a whole bunch of things that kind of describe Kanata as it is. So it's a real big, fast-growing, master plan suburb. It's quite corporate out there, as you saw before. It's a real classic suburb where, if you want your kids to be able to walk to a brand new school, there's a lot of stuff like that. Of course, the Canadian Tire Centre is there, so the Ottawa Senators play there. Canada's largest tech hub, like I said before. Tons of trails, tons of shopping, and no real need to even go downtown because they have everything in Kanata. It's huge. So next we've got Barrhaven, or as some people called it at some point, Farhaven, because it was so far from everything. But it's actually now called a city within a city. It's growing at a rapid pace. I personally believe it will be the first part of Ottawa that separates and becomes its own city. Just like you have in Toronto with a bunch of little tiny cities around it that make up the greater Toronto area. I think we're going to have the same thing here, and I think Barrhaven will be the first to go. So what separates Barrhaven from the other major suburbs is that it's extremely family-centric. Big suburb with lots of family recreation that happens. Lots of parks, outdoor things to do, outdoor spaces, tons of schools, very safe neighborhood. And the Minto Recreation Complex is there. That's a state-of-the-art facility with lots of pools, hockey rinks, gymnasiums. It's a massive sports recreation center for families, and it makes up one of the major value propositions of Barrhaven as a huge suburb focused on families. All right, next we've got Orleans on the east side, which is really known for its beautiful and I would say distinct French-Canadian cultural flair. So, if you speak French or you want your kids to speak more French and go to Catholic schools, French Catholic or French public schools. There's a lot of that in the east side. A lot of good cuisine, French restaurants, things of that nature. There's also Peachtree Island here, Princess Louise Falls, a lot of beautiful landmarks. And usually I'd say you get more bang for your buck on the east side than you would either in Barrhaven or in Kanata. So in the Ottawa core, so that would be the section that's within the green belt that I showed you earlier, there are a ton of different little neighborhoods that are historic, highly vibrant, energetic, and dense. You've got Westboro, you've got the Glebe, Old Ottawa South, Alta Vista, Rockcliffe Park, Manor Park. There's a bunch of real good stuff there, and that part of the city is really for people that want something that's walkable. They want to be able to get out of their front door and walk to an artisan coffee shop or a boutique or the local farmer's market. There are a ton of cute little subsections of the Ottawa core that are perfect for that lifestyle. All right, so let's get into the cost of living in Ottawa. So the average detached home in Ottawa sits just under $900,000. Pretty good. The average townhouse is about $600,000, and our average condo is only about $400,000. Now, that being said, if you look at other markets like Toronto or even BC, for the same price that you can get a detached home for here, you can only get a 2-bedroom condo for there. When it comes to taxes, in Ottawa, we have HST. So that's the harmonized sales tax that we have all across Ontario. And it makes up both the federal and provincial sales tax. So the federal part is 5%, and the provincial part is 8%, making our tax rate 13%. And if you want to look at property taxes, that's not so simple as a straightforward calculation because, as you know, a lot of things go into the formula that make up property tax. You have proximity to city services, fire, schools, police, things of that nature, how new the house is, how developed it is, how big the yard is, etc., etc. But if you had to guess, it's about 1.1% of the assessed value of the home, and the assessed value of the home usually is about, I would say, between 50 and 60% of the market value of that home. So Ottawa as a whole isn't necessarily cheap. In fact, if you look at the average household income and the average price of a home, the price of a home has dramatically outpaced the average household income for quite a while now, and homes have actually started to become a little bit unaffordable here, but not nearly as unaffordable as other markets in Toronto, especially in Vancouver, even in Montreal, not too far from here. Whether you prefer the high-tech family lifestyle in the West, in Kanata, the self-contained convenience of Barrhaven, or the charm and walkability of the downtown core in the Glebe or in Westboro, or maybe even just the incredible value you can find in Orleans, Ottawa really has a perfect pocket for everybody. So if you're trying to figure out which is the best one for your family's needs, what lifestyle you want to live, and what your budget is, that's what we specialize in. So please don't hesitate to reach out.